Hello, Lunchtime listeners. Welcome to the 8th episode of Lunchtime with Monica Chu. Today's program is Peter and the Wolf, a symphonic fairy tale by Sergei Prokofiev. Prokofiev was a one moment. Sorry. Oh boy. I had my monitors on. Prokofiev was a Russian composer who died last century, and he originally wrote this text and music for a children's concert with symphony orchestra. Today, we don't have a symphony orchestra, but I do have Prokofiev's own piano reduction, which is for piano and narrator. And today's special guest will be my husband, Chris Karlof, who's going to narrate this story for us. And we did do an interview, but we decided to pre-record it because we don't have a camera crew, and so we could either look at each other or look at you. So we decided to do both with two different cameras. So here it is. Hi, Chris. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Monica. It's great to see you this morning.
I know, it's really nice to see you every day. So can you tell us a little bit how you came to be involved in this project, Peter and the Wolf?
Well, there's this woman in my house doing some stuff downstairs, and she started making some music and sharing it on the internet. And I stumbled in there one day, and she was looking for some collaborators and asked if I wanted to join in on this.
Oh yeah? How's
Yeah.
your experience been so far as narrator of Peter and the Wolf?
Well, we've been enjoying beer and crackers during practice in the evening, so that's been a lot of fun. And I've gotten to learn some new instruments like the shaker and what are those little bells?
Castanets, actually.
Castanets, and the kazoo has just been fantastic.
Okay, great. I'm so glad that you've enjoyed all the Orff instruments and stuff.
Yeah, I didn't know those were part of the original score. Did Prokofiev write those in?
Those are unauthorized editions.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure about that.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, well, thanks for asking, Monica. Well, I'm a software engineering manager working for Mozilla, and I've been working out of this room for the last 3 months or so, and it's a very nice room, and I've been happy to do it, and it's been real exciting listening to the music downstairs while I do it. I've been involved in music a little bit over my life. I started as a teenager, and I played in some rock bands with my friends, and we also recorded a few things, did some touring. I played bass guitar, and some percussion in that. That was a really great learning experience for me, and I really appreciate it. I haven't done much with music performance or audio recording since then, but most recently we did a fantastic project upstairs in the house here for a dinner party where I dressed up as a piece of bacon and you dressed up as a
No.
banana.
Are you sure you weren't a hot dog?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was the hot dog and you were the bacon. Oh no, and then
No,
the banana.
I was
No,
a banana.
it was a banana hot dog, two great shaped foods, and we played a piece for a voice, bass guitar, and kazoo for our friends, I believe, about eggs. That was just a magical experience, and that's just really inspired me to want to get involved in this again. And I'm really happy to see some of those instruments coming back into this performance as well.
Well, thanks so much, Chris, for not only being the narrator in today's performance of Peter and the Wolf, but also our executive sponsor, without whom this show would not be possible because I'd be broke. So thank you.
Oh, well, I'm just really flattered to be your executive sponsor, Monica. It's been a real pleasure. I'm just really honored you chose me. So I'm really happy to continue.
Okay, well, thank you. See you in a bit.
Yep, absolutely. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, everyone. So as Monica mentioned, Peter and the Wolf was written for symphony orchestra, and each character in that piece was represented by a different instrument. First, the bird is represented by the flute. The duck is represented by the oboe. The cat is represented by the clarinet. Grandfather is represented by the bassoon. The wolf by the horn section. Peter by the string section. And the rifle of the hunters by the drums. So listen carefully to each character's theme. First up, we got the bird. The next character is the duck. We have the very sneaky cat. We have grandfather. Very serious grandfather. Do not mess with grandfather. The big bad wolf. And finally, the main protagonist of our story, Peter. Shall we begin?
Yeah.
All right. Early one morning, Peter opened the gate and went out into the big green meadow. On the branch of a big tree sat a little bird, Peter's friend. "All is quiet," chirped the bird gaily. Soon a duck came waddling around. She was glad that Peter had not closed the gate and decided to take a nice swim in the deep pond in the meadow. seeing the duck, the little bird flew down upon the grass and settled next to the duck and shrugged his shoulders. "What kind of bird are you, if you can't fly?" said he. And to this the duck replied, "What kind of bird are you, if you can't swim?" and dived into the pond. They argued and argued, the duck swimming in the pond and the little bird hopping along the shore. Suddenly, something caught Peter's attention. Noticed a cat crawling through the grass. The cat thought, "The bird is busy arguing. I'll just grab him." Stealthily, she crept toward him on her velvet paws. Creeping. "Look out!" shouted Peter, and the bird flew immediately up to the tree. While the duck quacked angrily at the cat. From the middle of the pond. The cat crawled around the tree and thought, "Is it worth climbing up so high? By the time I get there, the bird will have flown away." Grandfather came out. He was angry because Peter had gone to the meadow. "It is a dangerous place. If a wolf should come out of the forest, then what would you do?" Peter paid no attention to his grandfather's words. Boys like him are not afraid of wolves. Grandfather took Peter by the hand and led him home, and he locked the gate. No sooner had Peter gone, a big gray wolf came out of the forest. In a twinkling, the cat climbed up the tree. The duck quacked, and in her excitement, jumped out of the pond. No matter how hard the duck tried to run, she couldn't escape the wolf. He was getting nearer and nearer, catching up with her. And then he got her! And with one gulp, swallowed her. Can you hear the duck inside the wolf? And now, this is how things stood. The cat sitting on one branch, and the bird on another, but not too close to the cat. And the wolf walked round and round the tree, looking at them with greedy eyes. In the meantime, Peter, without the slightest hesitation, stood behind the closed gate watching all that was going on. He ran home, got a strong rope, and climbed up on the high stone wall. One of the branches of the tree, around which the wolf was walking, stretched out over the wall. Grabbing hold of a branch, Peter climbed lightly over onto the tree. Peter said to the bird, "Fly down and circle round the wolf's head. Just be careful he does not catch you." The bird almost touched the wolf's head with his wings, while the wolf snapped angrily from this side and that. Leaping at him. How the bird did worry the wolf, how he wanted to catch him, but the bird was too clever, and the wolf simply couldn't do anything about it. Meanwhile, Peter made a lasso and carefully let it down. He caught the wolf by the tail and pulled with all his might. Feeling himself caught, the wolf began to jump wildly to try to get loose. tied the other side of the rope to the tree. And the wolf's jumping only made the rope tighter around his tail. And just then, the hunters came out of the woods. Following the wolf's trail and shooting as they came. But Peter, sitting in the tree, said, "Don't shoot! The bird and I have already caught the wolf, and now help us take him to the zoo." And now, imagine the triumphant procession. Peter at the head. After him, the hunters leading the wolf. You hear the wolf? And winding up the procession, Grandfather and the cat. Grandfather tossed his head discontentedly. Well, and if Peter hadn't caught the wolf, what then? above them flew the bird, chirping merrily. My, what brave fellows Peter and I are! Look at what we have caught! And if you would listen very carefully, you could hear the duck quacking deep inside the wolf, because in the wolf's haste he had swallowed her alive. And that's the end of our story.
Thank you, sweetheart. Great job. Whew. Okay. Well, that was the story of Peter and the Wolf. I hope you enjoyed it. I had originally intended that to be the series finale, but fortunately, our executive sponsor has agreed to extend support for the show for another month. So I'll be doing 4 more shows in June. And next week will be another remote live collaboration, similar to the one that I did, was it only last week? Last week with Gray Grant. I'll be collaborating with cellist Audrey Snyder, who lives in Chicago. And she'll be playing a piece that I wrote called Zoom Gloom about feeling tired after video conferencing meetings, but yet also grateful because it's the best thing that we can do right now. Or rather, it's the safest way to meet. And I decided it would be fun to include an audio track for her piece that includes other people's voices saying common phrases from Zoom or other video conferencing meetings. For example, you might hear, you're muted, or can you please mute yourself, or your video is sideways, or things like that. And I would love to collect more voice samples from you because I want to have a diversity of voices for this track. So if you would please call me and leave me a voicemail. My number is 510-545-2439. And if you could call today, that would be the best because I'm going to try to finalize everything very soon because she's coming on the show next week. Yeah, I didn't think that the world could get any crazier when I first started this show 2 months ago. But it has, and please be safe out there, not only from the virus, but also if you go to a protest, please be safe. And I hope to see you next week on Lunchtime with Monica Chiu. Thanks.